Is it working? Are we live? I think so. Hi!
Hello!
Ahoy! Hey, welcome to The View. This is Girls Game Shelf, and we are playing our first live stream game. It's going to be Once Upon a Time, and we just learned it, and you just saw that if you were watching our apology live stream. So I'm Christina.
I'm Caitlin. Melissa.
Nikki.
And so, gosh, I kind of feel like you should kind of give the overview of the game, because you've been like in the rule book.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Just quicksies.
Have the rule book just to remind myself. Okay, so there are story cards and ending cards, and everyone has a set of story cards that they're trying to get rid of, so that then they can put down their ending card. And the way you get rid of your story card is by telling a story, and a good story that like all flows together nicely. Now, everyone else's job while you're telling your really good story is to try and jump in and become the new storyteller. And they can do that in a couple ways. The first way they can do it is if you're telling your story and you say something that is on one of their story cards, then they can jump in and take over the story from there by putting down their story card that you just mentioned, the element that you just mentioned. The other way they can do that is if you have a certain kind of story card. There's 5 different kinds of story cards. There's character, thing, place, aspect, or event. So if you talk about a place, they'll have an interrupt card. And if that interrupt card is also about places, then they can interrupt your storytelling to ask you questions and try to lead you to say the thing on their interrupt card. This is very difficult, but it can be done, but it also can be avoided. So it's tricky. So it's really kind of hard to get in on their story, but that's what everyone is trying to do, because the ultimate goal is to be in charge of the story long enough to get rid of all your cards and get to that ending. And that ending has to make sense with the way the story was told.
But the storyteller can also get their turn ended if they like start to stutter or their story starts to not make sense. So it keeps you honest too in this game, like not to just be like going on and on about whatever's on your cards.
Yeah, and if you run out of story to tell, like you've got something in front of you and you can't make a connection, then you can pass your story and swap out one of your cards for a new story card. You also draw every time your turn ends as well.
Yay! Thank you,
Huzzah! Yay!
You should do tutorials for us. So since this is our first live stream, we're also like, okay, we're not used to like taking questions during games, and this is kind of a storytelling game. So if you have questions, we will get to them. I super promise. I don't know at what point in the game we will, if there's a lull, or we might just get to it at the end, because this game seems to play quickly sometimes if Nikki gets the storytelling. You're not going first, by the way.
She is going first.
Oh, you are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no!
Well, we can change the rules.
I won't change the rules.
Right. Oh, I also want to say really quick, one of our Facebook followers suggested this game. Thank you, Jake Robita, for your suggestion. We're super excited to play this game. Thank you. All right, so I guess we're ready.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a sad princess. And she was really, really sad because everybody called her ugly all the time. So she decided she wanted to leave her town because they were...
Question. Would you call her town like was it like a royal town?
It was a village. It was a proper town.
But because she's a princess, there's royalty there?
Well, she's the princess. She is a princess, but she lived in a town.
Wait a minute. Yeah, they're just making you laugh.
No. I'm going to say that was a kingdom.
Oh, but wait. Remember this is what we did last time?
I can't do it.
It's got to have the same... Here, I don't know if you guys
never saw this.
It's got to have the same
Do you want to
signifier.
No.
I think, do you have to if it gets...
I think you have to, yeah.
I think you have to if it gets denied.
You're right.
And I think you need to draw 2.
You're sorry, girl.
Unsuccessful
Rejected.
interruptions. Discard the card she tried to interrupt with and draw 2 cards. See, things are going to get harder.
I want to go home.
Okay, well, she was really, really sad about living in this town. That was not quite a kingdom. She just called herself a princess.
Okay.
Princess in her head. And, yeah, so she decided to go on a journey to leave that hater-ass town. And along her journey, she came across a river and just really couldn't figure out how to get across. She was so frightened. And then, in the distance...
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to be two separate sentences. You said she came across a river and she couldn't figure out how to... So that was...
She came across a river, period.
No. You said and. You said and she was so frightened.
And when she got there...
No.
I can tell because you look guilty when you've been caught.
All right.
No, it was just a regular
So since you caught her, you're the new storyteller, right?
Oh yeah, good, because I think that's the way I'm getting it. So you have to draw a new card, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe you pick it back up. Oh, sorry. Reaching over.
Nikki, I thought you were going to take it all again.
No.
It's because you talk and it's like, I was interrupting you like twice. Like, she put it under the card. No.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out whether or not I can play the card. She's moved 3 times.
No, so fast.
Not kingdoms, mind you.
Passings. I don't remember.
I'm an
where I saw
avid
this.
fantasy book reader, so maybe it's a little...
Note to self.
Okay.
Don't invite Nikki to Once Upon a Time.
Draw one card from the story deck, and then the player on her left becomes the new storyteller.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Because I was going to say...
the card didn't happen in the story. You take it back in your hand. So you get this, and you get a new card.
Okay. Well, see, they didn't know how to get across the river, but luckily they found a road that went right over it. And I'm having the same problem with you, where I'm like, wait, what was the story?
Would you say that road was visible?
Was visible.
Like, were they able to find it easily?
It was like a bridge that went over the river.
So they saw
So,
it quickly?
yeah. So, the thing is, though, is that when they left the kingdom, or it's not a kingdom, right? It's just a town where there's royalty living. The queen did not approve of this match. So, even though the ugly princess had found her love, there was still trouble at home that she had to attend to. And the queen, though they didn't live in a kingdom, was stewing in the palace thinking about her daughter, because since her daughter was ugly, she was very protective of her and she wanted to keep her safe, and she did not trust the prince.
Which was the daughter?
Haven't we said
This
prince?
is my prince card. And no, we haven't. We've said king, queen, and princess.
Good, because I had no idea where I was going with that.
That was I'm very confused, and I'm not entirely sure how the prince plays into things. Okay, I can do this.
Didn't she fall in love with a prince? Am I making this up?
No, we have not mentioned a prince.
There
Yes.
was a second person, but I don't remember who they were.
Yeah, they were traveling over a bridge, like over the river.
It
Nikki.
was just a
her.
princess by herself.
Yeah,
and
she
decided
never
that was
met
the
anyone.
last
I
story.
inserted a prince. No.
Yes,
I'm
you
a
did.
worthy storyteller.
So what happens
Well,
with the prince? Tell me
Yeah,
more.
go.
The prince is obviously her brother at this point. Princess. And unlike his ugly princess sister, he was a beautiful, beautiful man. Highly, highly sought after by many people looking to be his wife or husband, depending on the situation. And his mother, the queen, sent him off to go find his sister who had traveled over the river. And so he left the city and went in search of his sister.
Would you say the sister was easy to find?
No, not at all.
Would you say that she was... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was not easy to find at all, and he searched far and wide, and after many months of searching, he thought he'd finally found her, but instead, he encountered a wolf in the woods. A wolf who was orphaned from his wolf pack, and he could speak.
Okay, wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Now, this isn't an aspect of the wolf.
Well, it's a new
It's a new character, so I don't know if I mean, the wolf is an orphan, but do we have to have a second character that is an orphan, or is it okay that the wolf and the orphan
I think it's a
are
character
the same?
card, so I think you need an orphan in the story.
That's fine.
There we go, okay.
All right, so you could draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
This
And then
seems mean.
And then it's my turn finally. Good gracious. Okay. So, The prince found a wolf.
Oh, did
and...
he find a wolf? Because I have a found card.
That didn't last long.
But what no one saw coming was that...
Wait, was he scared of the wolf?
No.
No, he was excited.
I wouldn't say he was excited. I'd say that he was brave.
Mm.
You know, he had a sense of purpose because he had to find his sister. Because what nobody knew is that, as I originally intended for a prince and princess, that they were in love.
Wait.
But their
There was
brother and
ancestry
sister.
in this story. I'm
This
sorry, I gotta use the card.
There are so many other ways to do that.
I'm sorry.
He was looking for a wife.
He was looking for a wife, and so...
She was right next to him all along. I'm sorry. We got off
Very
topic.
games of
So,
Games
despite the fact that she's missing, he's in love with her.
Yeah, well, that's why he had to go find her. The mother sent him, but he had to, you know, like,
He would've
hey,
gone
don't
in.
you want me to go find
So
my
he's
sister?
falling in love with her while he's searching for her?
Yeah.
Of
That's,
the
it sounds
tense
like-
of the card.
I'm not following the sense of this.
We can take away the incest. It never happened.
I'm pretty sure
Enjoy
that.
your next
Yep.
card.
Enjoy your next card. Does that
I think it's
happen
back to
me?
you.
Yeah.
Put it
Back to you.
So that's no longer part of the story, right?
No.
Like they
Never happened. They're not.
We've erased the Lannister portion of this
Yeah.
game.
Sorry,
Okay,
guys.
excellent.
Sorry.
All right,
Thanks for letting
so
me play.
the prince is still looking for his sister. He's encountered this talking wolf that everyone ignored. Rude. And his name was Artemis. And when he's speaking to Artemis, he's like, "Oh my God, you're a wolf and you can talk." And he's like, "Yes, my lord, I can. And I have something to tell you."
It sounds like that wolf is very wise, am I right?
You can't interrupt.
That's not an
Wait,
interrupt card.
But you said something, you didn't say the exact word, but you described the wolf as stuff to do. Like,
his name is Artemis, right?
I don't think I said he was wise.
Don't think she said he
Ah.
was.
Enjoy your card!
Interrupt cards, you
Dun,
turd.
dun, dun.
This is what we need. All right, go ahead.
Okay, tell me more about Artemis.
Yes.
Okay, so Artemis the wolf is like, "I have to tell you something." And the prince, he's so surprised by this talking wolf, he can barely speak.
Would you say, what kind of nature, what was the surprise like? Like, how did that happen?
The surprise, he was struck silent.
He was struck silent?
Yes, in his surprise.
And so, what emotion did he experience when he was struck silent?
I'm gonna go surprise.
Surprise?
Yeah.
Is that an emotion or a reaction?
Hey, you. Let her tell the
See what's happening with
story.
that. So he was struck silent with his surprise, and the wolf says, "I know where your sister is, the princess. She is very, very far away, and I know how to find her."
Would you say that she was hidden?
I wouldn't say she was hidden.
But if
now
she's far away and he can't find her,
I don't know.
that
That's-
makes her hidden.
The wolf is about to
Amazing.
tell him how to find her.
Yeah, she's.
We don't know if she's hidden yet. She could be out in an open meadow.
But the prince can't
Screaming,
find
I'm the
her.
princess.
No, the wolf is about to tell him how to find her. Let me tell my story. So Artemis.
2 cards.
Enjoy your cards. So Artemis says, "She's very far away, but I know how you can find her." And the prince says, "Please tell me how. I miss my sister so much, not in a weird incest way, but in a loving brotherly sister way."
I just gotta say, this wolf sounds super wise, and I don't
No.
know why he
And it
was
also
talking about
sounds
his
like
wise
the princess
stuff.
is hidden. The prince can't find her.
So the prince is like, "How do I find her?" And Artemis says, "Well, she was stolen." And he was like, "She was stolen?" And Artemis is like, "Yeah, she went out for a walk and was like, I'm gonna get my life on." And she's a very modern princess. And she was stolen away by an evil frog prince.
A wicked evil frog
Yeah, that
prince.
works.
Yeah, that works.
That works. Let's go down that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read the story.
All right. So, the wicked evil frog prince has locked the princess in a dungeon, but has locked the princess in a dungeon. To protect her, because guys, I haven't had a chance to do this yet.
All right, fine.
God, to protect her from being found, he has disguised her, surprisingly enough, as a beautiful young woman. He has also posted a guard outside of the dungeon, which has got this big elaborate labyrinth maze that the prince will have to go through. The Artemis tells the prince that he can rescue the princess if he goes to the entrance of this dungeon and has a meeting with the Wicked Frog Prince.
Being a Wicked Frog Prince.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So the prince decides that he will do this, and he begins going through the woods, following the directions that the wise wolf Artemis told him.
Do you have a bitter card?
Oh wait, we have to keep the one that we put out.
Yeah. So he's going through, following the trail the wise wolf Artemis told him, and as he's wandering, he veers off course a little bit. He sees some flowers that are catching his eye. There's some magic in the area, and he actually gets lost on his way. And as he's lost, he's wandering through these big towering trees, and there's moonlight coming down because it's nighttime now, and the mists are coming in. It's getting very spooky, and he's getting very scared. And
Would you say? Oh.
And a big wraith rises out of the ground, and he says, "I am the Ghost King." And the prince.
Would you say he was frightened when the wraith comes?
No, he's a pretty brave prince.
But you said he was scared.
No, she didn't.
She did. She said
Did
she
you
was scared.
Did you say scared?
Remember. Honestly,
She
She did, but she didn't enter a sentence.
Oh.
So, okay. So the Wraith King comes up, and the prince takes a deep breath and steels himself, knowing that he cannot feel anything but bravery at this point, and he promises himself that he will be brave to fight this Wraith King, and he recites
Girl, I think it's happening.
Yeah. Nothing is happening. Oh God, he recites a spell. I just needed to think of the word. There we go. He recites a spell that was taught to him by his mother, who happens to be a witch. But we didn't say that earlier. Fine, take it. I think. Do I take
the person to your left? that was good though. It was a good story.
Once my brow starts to furrow, I feel like it's time
Yeah.
to move on. And I'm like,
So he actually was definitely a. Wait, actually, how did the king play?
Wraith King.
The Wraith King.
Wraith King.
Yeah, he was scared of the Wraith King. And but the Wraith King actually was really, really kind and offers the prince a way through to the door that actually will let him in to the inside of the labyrinth where the princess is on the inside of the dungeon.
What room does the door let them hit him into?
Into the dungeon where she's kept. And when he gets to this door that is now open, there is a ring that somehow magically appears around the princess's neck, and it lifts the spell off of everyone in the kingdom. And
were they healed, you would say?
Yeah.
They were healed, and the curse was lifted as had been foretold.
Oh!
Good
come
job.
on.
Well done.
Obviously, Artemis foretold it.
I've never felt more like it was storytelling was a sport.
I know. Oh my God.
But my only issue is we're not allowed. Oh, you just rephrased it.
Yeah, if you say
Healed.
something, you can use the interrupt to lead them to say something they wouldn't have.
I had so many cards that could have worked. Well, not this one, not the falling in love card, but there was I could
not
have
the falling in
interrupted
love
chasing
card.
a few times.
I know. That's why I'm like, wait, we can't. Like, that's why I was frustrated when we decided the rules were gonna work this way, because I was like, you're gonna have all these cards and you'll be able to lead them with these cards. And then, if you want to just straight up interrupt, you just throw it down and be like, nope, your turn is over. So that's why I don't know, I think.
But I like the banter that it creates.
Yeah.
It's
But
kind of
could it
fun.
just imagine all the more banter if you could interrupt with these cards instead?
I do feel like you'd have a more interesting back and forth if you really were able to just interrupt without tying it in.
Yeah, this is like the stop what you're saying, I'm taking over, and this is the leading you to try and say what I want to say part. Maybe we could, since it is a shorter game, maybe we could try a game that way, see how we like it.
Yeah, because I didn't have any interrupt cards.
Yeah.
That's
me
how I
either.
was
Yeah.
doing the test game, and I was like, I'm literally just sitting here.
Wouldn't that make it go, like, the only thing is, like, would that make the story get interrupted too often, you know, because there's so many opportunities.
Yeah.
But it could also, like, I think make it, like, you could have that build up and, like, you'd have, like, a deeper story instead of one person just telling a story based on their cards. You'd have, like, more aspects to it, which makes more aspects to remember, which is difficult.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a frog in our story until you mentioned it.
Yeah,
check
yeah.
that for a
So it's like,
the more back and forth there is, the more confusing it would get. Because, like, little things would happen, and how many kingdoms exist? Because there was a frog prince and a wraith king and a prince and a princess, and they met someone else who clearly had a castle.
she
and
was
a
just
The
dungeon.
from
frogs
a
are
town.
kings of the frogs, and the wraiths are king of the
The
wraiths. It could
wraiths.
be all the same.
Yeah,
towns,
they could
different-
be in the same, different
Each
areas.
species has their own royal
Kingdom,
name.
yes.
Yeah, it's a
Fair.
frog kingdom, you know,
Yeah.
short.
Yeah,
Is anyone
totally.
watching
It's short.
this? Hi! Are there any, like, questions or anything?
Oh, just mostly commentary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi.
hope it's good.
Do you guys like the game? Isn't it cool?
It was fun. I'd play it for sure.
So should we?
I would do this again.
It's pretty short, but should we play it again, or should we just, like, end it? I don't know how to.
Let's play it again.
Is it
right?
cool if we play it again? Can we play it again?
We do what
You're
we want.
All right. All right.
Do we want to try it with the other?
I'm
the
scared
amended
to try it that
I
way.
think we won't
I'll
know
do it
if
if
it
you
works
want.
unless we try.
All right.
Do we have the fourth?
So wait, what can you can interrupt with any what kind of card?
So the interrupt card will be like a slam down. It's my turn. Just taking the turn, whether as long as it matches.
Right. You don't need
You-
permission.
You
from
do
the
still
master.
have to work your card into the storyline, right?
Yeah.
So we can still
but
call
he
it off
doesn't
if it's
have
too
to.
like.
But you don't have to like convince them to say the word on your interrupt card.
Okay.
Instead, you're able to interrupt it. Not interrupt. You're able to converse at any point to try and lead them to saying a word or one of the cards that you have.
Okay.
That's how we're gonna try.
Okay, so this
Try
is
and
now
play.
like the interrupt card as we were playing it, and the
Mhm.
interrupt card is now like a takeover
It's a
card.
stop. Yeah.
Got it.
Hard stop. Okay. So these are from last game.
That's a rush. It is, isn't it? You expect this to be so stressful?
I didn't expect this to be so stressful.
I like it.
Oh, I
though.
started discounting, so that's 3.
Oh, sorry.
4, 5,
I'm not yawning, you're yawning.
No, you're not yawning.
7.
And I'm not yawning.
Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. These cards.
I already got another. This happened to me last time.
Oh, you got a double.
Yeah.
There you go. I guess they weren't off. Is this? Oh, that's yours.
Maybe that like a.
Okay. Oh, and then we have to draw. The first letter is W and discard. Oh, it might
So
be closer
Christina.
to Christina this time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Christina's a
Wait. Oh, how do we do it? Last name?
So the
Yeah.
or
Or
first name.
names.
The
first
letter
names.
that's closest to the large letter on
So yes.
this.
You
Really? That's
flip an end card from W.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you grab it back around.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Well, let me read my cards real quick.
Live your life.
That's okay. Okay. I'm just getting my story in order.
Your story as you're gonna tell it.
Yeah.
No interruptions.
All right. I'm ready. You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. Once upon a time,
Once.
there was a dragon, and this was a very sad dragon.
Where did the
because-
dragon live?
Well, he
I wonder?
lived on a mountain, actually.
Was there
That's-
anything on the mountain where the dragon lived, or
No,
around
that's
the
why
mountain?
he was sad. He was alone, completely alone.
Even like
on this mountain.
down below the mountain, there was nothing around it.
Well, below the mountain, I'm glad you asked. There was a swamp,
Mm.
and in that swamp, there were many creatures that lived. And the dragon really wanted to make friends with these creatures, but he was a pretty foolish dragon, and he didn't know quite how to go about that. So what he decided to do was to kidnap these friends.
And what kind of creatures were these friends? Like what was included?
Swamp creatures, things that live in a swamp, like
Swampy
slimy kind of things, like reptiles, reptilian kind of things.
When did he kidnap them?
When did he kidnap them?
Yeah, like how did he go about that?
Well, those are two different questions. So he was on top of his mountain, and when he made the decision, he spread his wings high. It was like, before, early morning before the sun was out, and he swooped down, and he just, like, with his little dragon feet, he grabbed all the little friends he could, and he brought them back up the mountain with him.
So since it was such early morning, would you say he kidnapped them when they were sleeping, or?
Yes.
Excellent. So this very brave dragon, who just happened to be foolish, went down and kidnapped all of these new swamp friends, and he took them back to his mountain.
And so up on the mountain, were they imprisoned with him?
Not yet. Nope. Took them back to the mountain and set them up in his cave. And it was just in time because a very large storm was coming in. And these were new friends. The dragon wanted to protect his new friends because, friends aren't friends if they're dead. That got dark. And so the dragon goes up his little dragon...
okay, no. Nope.
Up his little dragon stairs to barricade the front of his cave so he can protect himself.
So he's got stairs in this cave on this mountain. It's just random stairs, or is there like a structure on the... We're not being clear about what's on this mountain.
So basically, it's like the top of a mountain. Has no one read Lord of the Rings? It's a cavern. So it's
with stairs.
A cave at the top of the mountain. Well, because he inhabited a former, mine kind of situation.
Okay.
There's a lot of treasure in there still. And so he fortifies the front of his cave for this big storm that's coming in. He wants to protect all of his slime creatures.
So this mine, like the asset. So obviously there's stairs, and there's like the hole where the mine is, and the stuff underneath. But is there anything like on top of them, like
But they can't
like on the surface, where would the dwarves or whatever?
You're doing an awful lot of bleeding.
Yeah.
Girl.
Hey, that's what we're doing.
So
I
basically,
still contend that they're imprisoned there because
mountain
they can't get out.
The mountain has a very long history. It was excavated to become a mine by a princess many centuries ago. It's a very
what did she
old
look
town.
like? What did this princess look like?
She was not like the prettiest princess. She had a very large mole. They called her Molly, our Royal Highness, back in the day. Her name was Amelia, so it was like Molly, Amelia. It worked. It was a thing. Amelia, yes,
Okay.
yes, for her close friends. So she had them excavate this mine because it was full.
Can you tell me a little bit about
rubies.
where Amelia lived?
You were need to calm down.
I just want to understand this world. We're world building.
Okay. Amelia was sent away to this small town where the mountain lived.
A village, you would say?
Oh, damn it. Yes!
Such a stinker. Oh my god.
Please, you've done more talking than me, and I was the storyteller, so please, go on.
All right, so just a little backstory on Amelia. She goes back to this village, or she's taken away to this village where she is kept in a tower and hidden away. And because she's so hideous.
Who sent her away?
The people who captured her.
What? She got captured?
Didn't she get captured?
She was sent away.
This is how the mountain got to be up at the top of the mountain. This is backstory.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She was sent away to this village and put in this tower, like for her own good. I guess captured's like a broad word.
Okay, so we're in the backstory of
the dragon.
with the dragon and how this
Story of friendship, really.
Story of friendship, really. So I'm just gonna, if it's all right with everyone, I'm gonna course correct and go back to the actual story.
Oh wait! I still want to know. Like we were giving this backstory about Amelia.
I still want to know who sent her to the village.
Yeah, we'll just finish up Amelia.
Got it. Okay, so Amelia was the long-lost daughter of a very evil king. And this evil king used to poison all of the people in his village when he didn't like what they did.
What about her mom? Is she still in the picture?
No, we haven't seen the mom for a very long time.
So he's a single parent?
He's a single parent.
Good to know.
Okay, wait,
And so, but he's...
Question, how did he manage to poison an entire village?
He put it in the water.
Like, what's their water source in this village?
There are many water sources. It could, from rain to all sorts of different ways that water is provided to the people. But what I will say,
them for me.
but he, honestly, he was so misunderstood. He really loved his child, the princess, and he actually wanted to do right by her and to protect her from the evils of the world.
But isn't he evil?
He is evil, but if you are evil, you don't think that you're evil. That's how other people experience
that is
you.
so deep and
So he imprisoned this daughter in that deep dark cave, and thus that's how.
And then she was rescued by the dragon, and Amolia gave the whatever it was lair. Cave. Can we call it a lair?
Sure.
He gave the lair to the dragon as a thank you for making sure that she was safe from her evil father. So back to the dragon. The dragon, he wanted to get all of his friends safe, right? Because friends are friends unless they're alive. And his problem was that there was a big wall around their swamp, and all their other little friends were not safe down there.
They were actually dying down there in this terrible, terrible storm. So the dragon, actually noticing this and hearing his little friends cry out, our friends, goes to it's magic, guys. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
it's
he
magic.
Goes to the entrance of his cave.
Spell?
No. It's just a magical world where animals talk, and there's dragons who say princesses. It's just
Those are just the
not
givens
spell.
of the
Yeah.
world.
It's just how it is. So anyway, he wants to rescue these other animals, but it's too dangerous for him to go back out into the storm right now. So what he does is he kind of almost like punches or like dragon punch. I guess it would be flame window. Yeah, like or claw. He claws a window out of the side of the cavern that he then ushers the small animals in.
So to do that, he'd have to be very strong.
He would be. Yeah.
He would be. And so he does get them in, and he welcomes these new friends into the cavern and sends them down the stairs to his other new friends, their old friends. It's all very friendly. And then he barricades this hole that he has punched into the cave. And then they hunker down to prepare for the storm. But what the dragon does not know is that there is Amolia's evil stepmother. Because while she has been sent to this town, the evil king has remarried. And Amolia's never met this woman.
Oh, dang.
I know.
Yeah.
And so Amolia can't be protected by the dragon right now because he's up in the mountain and there's a big storm. And the stepmother...
Okay, wait, just to clarify, not interrupting.
Yes.
Amolia is still alive and still in the cave?
She's not in the cave. Someone put her in a tower.
No?
No, we took her out of the
Oh,
tower.
we did not do the tower? She's in the town. Yeah, let's do Amelia time.
What?
Amelia time?
Present? Amelia? Yeah.
Okay.
Shit.
Brow furrowing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I think I said that she was long ago. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
All right, so wait, where are we in the
Okay,
story
so
then?
Take a card. He was very strong. He punched...
Wait, so I have
blew
to...
the
Yeah,
wind.
I have to
your
pull my
challenge.
stepmother card then, right? I was going to play it, but now we have to go back? Or...
No, because... Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
long
'cause
ago
we're-
was Amolia that, like...
No,
she
we're
couldn't
going back
have
because you
stepmother?
just said the stepmother thing, and you interrupted for Wait, no.
Very strong was the
Yeah.
interruption, and then I went to the stepmother thing. The
Yeah.
question is whether or not Amelia is alive currently,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or if she
But
was
we haven't
a
addressed
long
that
time ago.
yet.
Yeah.
Because, this got confusing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
stepmother down or no?
Yeah, I think stepmother down.
Okay.
You still have to draw a new card
Yeah.
because...
So there's a
Because that was
stepmother.
failure.
Amelia is alive. We don't know how yet, but I guess Melissa will answer all those
Okay,
questions.
so the stepmother and the king are coming, and the new stepmother is actually very beautiful, which is doing the weird thing to the king where he loves his daughter, but now that he sees that women can be so very beautiful, he actually is starting to resent his daughter for not being beautiful and making it difficult for him to watch out for her in this life.
He's not a nice man.
Exactly. He's evil.
Just to clarify, he's mad at his daughter for being ugly.
Yes. The daughter of his genetic.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. He's mad at his own personal gene pool for sucking. Got it.
Yes. So he's coming towards the village with his beautiful wife, and he's coming to search for Amelia because let me just put a time limit on it. It was like 100 years ago. He's magically young. His wife is actually much younger than Amelia is. It's one of those kind of things. Like she's actually young. He's magically young. Amelia being, they're royalty. They're imbued with like a long life.
Well, I would say that the stepmom's beauty was so beautiful that it blinded him, and that's how we were able to continue on our journey with the king.
Is that a metaphorical blinding? Or
no, like literally he became blind. When she appeared, when the stepmother
he was like,
oh my God, you're so beautiful. What? Because he wasn't used to that, because Amelia is so, ugly. So moly and ugly.
Where was he the first time he saw his new wife?
Well, he saw her down the way on the road.
And on the road? Like she was just standing in the middle of the road?
She was just there, and then all of a sudden he sees her and declares her his wife, and they get married, and that's how it works in the kingdom.
Yeah.
No, he sees her, it's like, oh my God, you're my new wife.
Don't get run over by that wagon.
Blind by this.
Okay.
It happens out of shock. You can faint and go blind. That can happen. So,
okay, I have a question. Was he like walking down the road when he saw her, or like what was he doing?
He's a king. He's not walking down any roads.
So how was he getting down this road?
He is being carried by his minions. And so when he is struck with this blindness, he is in search now of a spell to be able to see again, so that he can have all of his evil power back again. He's mad at everyone, and
I'm sorry, what does the spell do? Can you?
The spell is what's gonna give him his sight back.
Oh, so his sight is then returned.
Oh, but I didn't say he got it back.
It's an interrupt card.
Oh.
So can we assume that he found the spell, or like it just like magically returned to him, or like it was a temporary thing?
Well, no. See what happens. Let me tell you. His sight is returned to him, but the thing about the spell that he didn't realize was that it was also what was encrypted in the spell that he couldn't see because he's evil. Is it gets rid of evil people, thus killing the monster, destroying the monster, and making everyone safe from the evil.
Wait, what monster?
The king is a monster. He's an evil monster king.
Oh, the monster
He's
inside him.
Yeah, the monster inside
the monster
him.
inside him.
No, you can call someone a monster.
I like that. I like that.
Oh my God, I've been waiting on that ending forever.
Mine would have been so
What's
easy.
that?
Someone said, what about the dragon?
Yes, exactly!
Oh, we can't end it, right?
No, we can. It's done. The dragon saved all of his friends.
The dragon has a nice, friendly cave now.
They're
he
like
saved all the
friends.
swamp creatures, and he brought them all up. He'll probably have to create a new swamp in his cavern down the stairs, and then he can stay up top. It'll be like a duplex.
It was kind of like in this, with stories like in Shakespeare, you have the first like 2 nights that are like talking, and then you never see them again. They just kind of open up the story. That was the dragon's role.
Well, you know what? And the only trouble the dragon was in is there was this storm, which will pass, and the king was coming to try and find Amelia. But once the monster inside him is destroyed, he's not going to be coming and threatening the dragon anymore.
Yeah, right. Originally, the dragon was going to return all the friends to the swamp and then die because he was actually an evil monster. If you wanted to know the alternate ending.
That's not canon. No, he was a good dragon.
He was a very good dragon.
Just a foolish dragon.
Let me see your card. What are you trying to interrupt with this whole time? Jeez.
A well,
a tower, a well.
What kind of water source?
I know what kind of water source. A horse.
Oh yeah.
So she knew that her
you
visitor
had
had been a monster all along. Very nice.
That would have been a...
So you had the monster in the head too, because you could use the king as a monster or the dragon.
Oh, with this one, I would have made the swamp creatures the monsters.
Oh, that's good.
They could all band together into one giant monster.
What did you have?
But no.
I had a brother or sister.
Incest!
Incest coming back.
Well, either that or the stepmom was gonna bear the king of sister Harmonia, who was
much nicer.
The king couldn't have gone blind in a garden. We couldn't have done that.
Was it interrupt or no?
No. It was literally the only card I had left. It was so annoying. I was like, no one's gonna say garden.
I think so. I can't decide if I like playing this way or the other way better. I think I might like the other way better because it felt more like ha cha fa, and this way feels a little more like although I did like the story better.
Yeah,
I actually, sorry, I was gonna say I actually think that I actually think that this way is more conducive to the yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, the last one I think we got lucky that we were kind of telling a story that corresponded to our cards. But I think it would actually be much harder a lot of the time.
Maybe it's also because we had so much adrenaline on the first one. Because it was our first complete one. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what I liked about it.
I'd also just chugged 2 coffees. So
so you're here now.
Woo! Now we should start.
Are there any other? Are there any questions or anything? Thanks for watching our first live stream.
Yay!
I don't think there's anything. I think we're good.
Does it go on the shelf?
Oh yeah. Well.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Well, I love it. I knew that I would love it. Do you guys? I like it a lot.
I liked this game a lot, and I think this would be so much fun to get drunk and play on a game night. Why do I always talk about alcohol? I'm so sorry. This game's fun. It goes on my shelf.
You need caffeine and alcohol. Your device.
I'm still waking up.
Oh man, yeah, I really like it too. I love storytelling games like this. I like playing it the second way because there's more conversation. There's a little bit easier to get involved with it instead of like sitting and being like so I really like it. And then the quality of these cards, they're like pretty. Really nice, and they have beautiful like old-fashioned style artwork
the
on the back.
Who's the artist
on is it by?
Oh, that's it.
Thank you.
Secret Arm.
Secret Arm.
But yes, I really like it, and I do agree that I think the more loose you were, the more it would be exciting because it would get crazy.
Yeah.
I really liked this game. I could see just personally, if I were playing this in certain groups of people, I would do like create a world or parameters. So like, you know, I'm a fan of saying, okay, but these are all things in Africa. Or trying to add some little challenge on top of the game to keep it in a particular world or year or era, I think could up the ante and make it a lot of fun. Yeah. So, but I like it because these are all things that are broad enough, dragon, mountain, swamp, that you could like, if you did that, it kind of would just make the game a little harder, but funny also.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I also think that this game gets better the more times you play it in a session. Because, like, just between our first game and our second game, we were all a lot more willing to throw down cards and interrupt, and we got a little more detailed with the storytelling. And I feel like if it goes so quickly that if you played it, like, 4 times in a night, that 4th game would probably be hilarious.
Well, I also feel like the first time we played it, we were like, the focus was more on how to interrupt, and then the second time we were all, like, pretty defensive of the story together, because it was our story that we were telling together. Yeah. And, I mean, I was wondering when I first heard about it from Jake Robita, thank you again, sir, that, like, I'm like, a storytelling game, how is that going to be competitive? But I was actually surprised at how competitive it could be. Like, I really felt like it was a sport for, you know, you know, if you're prone to, like, I don't know, I was never quite good at sports because I like storytelling, so this is a great bridge. I belong again. Yeah. So yeah, it goes on the shelf. Sorry for that rant.
Goes on my shelf too.
Yeah, mine too.
Mine.
She's singing her own theme music.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching our first live stream. Check out this game if you haven't already because it's super awesome, super fun. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.